Hopefully some more good deals for 40k on the horizon this year. Games Workshop's normal Christmas Battleforces do indeed appear to be happening, and they're going to be announced on Thursday. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, just for a little bit of an update and talk about the Christmas Battleforces this year. We don't have the current news of the hotly anticipated contents, but I'll certainly be covering that in a video when they're out. Basically, Games Workshop's Christmas Battleforce deal tends to be quite a good one. Every year, going back for really quite a long time, they generally come out with some new offerings for various different armies. Basically bundle a whole load of kits together and then mark them down at a decent discount, and it's a fairly easy way to get into a fair few armies, far cheaper than they'd typically be, at least under Games Workshop's normal pricing. Over the last week or so, there'd been a rumour going round that the boxes might not be happening this year. I think this mainly stemmed from a Games Workshop Christmas catalogue, where it didn't appear that the boxes featured at all. I must admit I was a bit uncertain whether or not to make a video on the topic. It at least seemed somewhat plausible that they might not be happening. I mean, why would you have a Christmas catalogue without featuring your flagship Christmas products in? And I guess there's always the possibility that something between the pandemic and Brexit, Games Workshop just hadn't got round to making them a reality this year. However, I thought I'd hold off a week or so just to see whether or not that was actually the case. These boxes always generate a massive amount of excitement, they'll typically sell out pretty quickly, and it would seem pretty weird for Games Workshop to miss out on their fairly easy win, near guaranteed sales, that they've kind of built up an expectation that they would be happening each year, so a lot of people get hyped for them, with the plan to maybe buy one if the right things come along. In any case, there was a Warhammer community article the other day, I'll link it down in the video description, and it gave us Thursday as the expected date where they'll be showing off their 40k and Age of Sigmar Battleforces. I guess it might well be Games Workshop getting into the Black Friday spirit. If they're teased this week, then it seems fairly likely that they might go up for pre-order on the Saturday after Black Friday. I believe it was a similar sort of timing last year. In any case, as for what to expect, last year's offerings were some Phobos Space Marines, Necrons, Chaos Marines, Guard, Tau and Tyranids. I think typically when they're choosing which armies to feature in these, they typically tend to go for their better selling armies and ones that have a fair amount of relatively recent plastic kits to show off. For example, the Chaos Space Marine one featured quite a lot of their more recent sculpts, say the new standard Chaos Marines, Terminators and Havocs. If I'd had to gamble, I'd guess that there might well be an Orc box this year somewhere amongst the ranks. Orcs have already received a lot of love this year, and Games Workshop has made a big effort with them with all the new kits. So I feel that kind of in a similar vein to the Necrons last year, they're really quite high up the priority, particularly as they've featured a lot in previous years, but not last year. I think it's pretty well guaranteed that we'll get at least something for the Space Marines, and I'm sure we'll get at least one Chaos set. They often tend to give something at least for Imperium, Chaos and Xenos. The discount on these kits usually tends to be very, very generous by Games Workshop standards. The start collecting boxes tend to be somewhere between the 30 and 40% mark, as in that much less compared with buying the kits individually, whereas these Christmas Battleforces varied really quite a bit. It was generally anywhere between a 40 and 60% decrease on a great big box of models for around about £120 to £125, or around the $200 or €140 mark. I would bear in mind that last year a lot of the more popular boxes were sold out pretty much immediately. The Necron box that a lot of people were looking forward to sold out in minutes, and a fair few of the others weren't too far behind. GW does seem to have learned a fair few lessons though from this strategy of just selling out boxes completely very quickly, and hopefully they'll continue with that made to order thing that they've been doing with the latest boxes. So hopefully if you place an order, it should eventually be shipped, even if it might take a lot longer if they exhaust their initial stock. Still though, I guess it certainly could be worth jumping on early if you do want to avoid delays where possible. So anyway, I'm certainly looking forward to looking through the boxes in full later in the week. So feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, or just check back later if you'd like to see that. Finally, if you've been enjoying the videos on the channel, and you'd like to help support, I'd just like to mention one way in which you can do so, which is my Element Games affiliate link down in the video description. Element Games is a UK-based discount retailer. They generally give 10 to 20% off Games Workshop's miniatures, and if you buy anything from them after clicking the link, a small amount goes to help support Auspex Tactics without costing you any more. Can just be a way to help support on things you're thinking about ordering in anyway. For people over in the USA and Canada, there is also an Amazon link as well. That works in much the same way, giving a small amount of any Amazon purchases whatsoever to Auspex Tactics without costing you more. A massive thank you to you guys who have been using those on things you are thinking of buying. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.